welcome to your final week of your Pilates for Beginners challenge. We are on week 5 and you have done so well to get here. If you're joining us for the first time, please feel free to start this program from the beginning. It is a full 5-week program that progresses you through from beginner level Pilates right through to where we are today. And today I thought, what better way to finish our final week than doing a fun Pilates workout outside to celebrate our last session together. And it's just such a beautiful morning here with the sun glowing nicely. I got sand in my toes and I really hope that you can enjoy this workout with me. So when you're ready, come and join me on the mat. Today we are going to be starting at the bottom of our mats in the rest position. Let's start with closing our eyes and taking a few deep inhales, drawing our attention to where we are now. And just listening to the sounds around us and just making that effort to be grateful for this time now. Taking a deep inhale, slowly rounding yourself up one vertebra at a time into an all fours position. Deep breath in. Exhale, we open that chest as we lower and arch that lower back. Deep breath in. Exhale, we round back up. Inhale. Exhale, we lift that chest, just loosening up that spine, getting oxygen through the lungs and into those limbs. Getting ready for a beautiful workout of activations. And slowly coming back to center, lifting that right leg up, and we're just going to circle it to loosen up that hip. So just doing nice big circles for 5, 4, keeping that core tight to maintain that stability, 2, 1, and changing direction. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Slowly extending that right leg, tucking in that belly, lengthening that left arm and holding. Just making sure that neck's in neutral, stabilizing with that core, making sure the shoulders and those hips are aligned. Inhale. Exhale, slowly dropping those limbs down, coming back into rest position. Deep breath in, rounding yourself forward, placing that pelvis on the mat, coming into an upward facing dog. And slowly bending those knees and coming back into rest position. We're going to do that one more time before we move on to the other side. Deep breath in, exhale, rounding and placing that pelvis on the mat as you lift up. And dropping those knees to come all the way back into rest position. Coming into all fours, lifting that left leg up and rounding into those circular motions, making sure that you're keeping that stability and loosening up those hips. Let's do another 4 more. Looking straight down in front of you. And 3, 2, and changing directions, meeting you in the center and just changing to other side. And 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now lengthening that left leg and extending that right arm, looking straight down in front of you and just breathing. Bringing that awareness to that tummy, to that core, understanding where you should be feeling the activations. Keeping your posture in neutral position. Taking a deep inhale. Exhale, we come down. Deep breath in. We lift those knees off the mat as we tuck our toes under our feet. Remember to draw those shoulders or those shoulder blades down that back. And now I want you to imagine like your hands are pulling towards your knees, keeping that core tight. Keep holding. Let's go for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lifting yourself into downward dog. And pushing those heels into the ground. Just walking those feet out. And slowly walking your feet towards your hands, towards the front of the mat. And just allowing that head to fall down. Slight bend in those knees just to protect that back. Making sure that you are bending at the level of those hips and not the lower back. And slowly rounding that back to come into standing, lifting those arms up towards the sky, heart to sky. And inhale, exhale, hands to heart, coming all the way back down to draw those hands onto the mat. Deep breath in and halfway lengthen. And slowly placing those hands back on the mat and either walking or jumping your feet into front support position. Inhale. Exhale, we drop those knees down and we bring that chest to the mat and then lift ourselves up into upward facing dog. And all the way back into downward facing dog. We're going to interlace our hands behind our back, reaching those hands overhead, just stretching out those shoulders, and now slowly lifting yourself up onto your knees as you draw those hands down towards the floor as you lift your chest up towards the sky. And just using this time again to loosen up those shoulders and that back. Breathing as we're moving. And coming back into that modified rest position. And last one, lifting all the way back up, lifting those hands up towards the sky. And slowly coming all the way back into rest position, tucking those toes in and lifting yourself back into your fury hold, hovering your knees off the mat and drawing your hands and knees towards one another for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and coming all the way back into downward facing dog. For 2 deep breaths, and then coming back down, drawing those knees in towards those hands for another 10. Keep breathing, shoulders away from those ears for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and slowly coming back into that downward dog and walking your hands or jumping to the front of the mat, your feet to the front of the mat, to a forward fold, halfway lengthen, coming into a forward fold and lifting that chest back up to standing as you transfer your weight onto your left leg, coming into your high knee with your right leg. Holding here, just allowing that balance, slight bend in that left knee. I want you to really focus on that activation of that glute and that core. Hands to heart. I'm going to hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pushing that right leg all the way back into standing Superman. If you want more of a challenge, you can extend your hands. That's holding for another 5, 4. Remember to align those hips, align those shoulders. Remember, posture is so important to maintain balance and stability. And slowly dropping that back foot, coming into crescent lunge. Keep holding. Lengthening that spine, opening that left hip flexor. Slowly dropping those hands down and extending that left leg down, dropping it into front support, coming down into knees, chest, floor, lifting into upward facing dog, downward facing dog. And slowly walking or jumping your feet back to the front of the mat. And forward fold. Halfway lengthen. Slowly transferring that weight onto that right leg as you bring your left leg into high knee. Lengthening that spine, slight bend, focusing on that balance. Scanning that body, feeling the activations as you stabilize. Deep breath. Bringing hands to heart. And now slowly pushing your left foot back into standing Superman. Extending your hand forward and holding. Again, imagine like you're about to dive into a pool here, lengthening, drawing those wrists in the opposite direction to that ankle, flexing that back foot. Now slowly dropping that back foot towards the back of the mat and opening that chest as you allow that left hip flexor to stretch out. Deep inhale. Exhale, we drop our hands onto the mat, extending that right leg out, dropping it into front support, knees, chest, floor, and upward facing dog. And slowly coming into downward facing dog. Very nice. Keep up the good work. We are slowly going to walk or jump our feet to the front of the mat, coming straight into a seated position, lifting those arms all the way up. Want your feet about 1.5 feet away from your glutes, drawing those knees towards each other, lengthening that spine. Want you to just take a moment here again to feel those activations, using those back extensors to draw those shoulders up, using your inner thigh muscles to draw your knees together, sucking in that pelvic floor. Deep breath in. Exhale, we bring our hands to T-point, then back to center. And T-point, then back to center. I want you to imagine like you are holding a tennis ball between those knees, feeling that activation. Bringing the crown of your head all the way up towards the sky. And now slowly coming all the way back up and opening that right shoulder towards that left side of the mat. Inhale to center. And same thing with the other side. Coming back to center and opening. And the last one, making sure those knees aren't falling out. And slowly coming all the way back and drawing those hands, elbows onto the mat. Just making sure you're in the center. Lifting right leg up, then left leg up. Drawing that belly towards that spine. Using your elbows for support, pushing away from the floor. Deep breath in. Exhale, right leg toe tap into straight leg lower. That's 1. Left leg toe tap, straight leg lower. We're going to do 5 on each leg before we progress. That's 2. And 3. Keep working. You should be feeling this in your lower abdominals. And 4. Left leg. And last one on each leg. Toe tap, extension, and toe tap. Just make sure that when you lower into that extension, that pelvis stays stable. Slowly coming all the way back down, dropping those feet and bringing them slightly closer towards your glutes, and just rocking from left to right as an active recovery before we progress. Coming back to center, lifting both legs up into tabletop. Deep breath in. I want your knees 90 degrees. Ankles and knees are in contact with one another. Inhale. Exhale. We toe tap and lift. And toe tap and lift. So we're going to start with just basic toe taps before we progress. Coming back to center. Now we're going to scoop the mat and then lift back up. We just got to do 3 of these, coming down, scooping, lifting back up, coming down, scooping, lifting back up, and changing direction, extending and coming down, extending first, drawing those toes down. And you don't have to go too far, just as long as you're getting an activation. Remember not to extend that back. Coming back to center, and we're going to do 3 more, just normal double leg toe taps. That's 1 and 2 and 3, and dropping those legs down and drawing, releasing those elbows, coming all the way down into a supine position. Hands are on a T-point, just rocking your knees from left to right. Coming back to center, we're going to bring our hands towards our sides, coming into our pelvic curls. Remember our positioning of our feet. Let's take a deep inhale, sucking in that pelvic floor, flattening that back as we draw those hips up towards the sky, tilting that pelvis, drawing your pubic bone towards your chin. As you draw your heels towards your glutes, intensifying that activation. Deep breath in, bringing hands overhead. Inhale, exhale, coming all the way back down. Keeping those hands up, we're going to lift those hips back up. We're going to do 3 more of these. Remember to keep that pelvis nice and fluid as you round that spine and lift it up, sucking in that pelvic floor. Remember that tennis ball between those knees. We've got 2 more of these. Squeezing those glutes. Feeling the movement of that vertebra as you articulate from one to the next. Let's stay in the air now. Squeezing those glutes. Deep breath in. Exhale, we lift right leg up into tabletop. Inhale. Exhale, I want you to lift through that left heel and slowly bring hands into T-point as you toe tap. That's 1, then coming back to center. And 2. And 3. Leading through that heel. And 4. And 5. Extending that right leg up, flexing that right ankle into little pulsations for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and slowly coming back into tabletop, dropping right leg down, transferring that weight onto that right leg now and lifting left leg into tabletop. Making sure your hips and your knees are at 90 degrees. Inhale, exhale, we toe tap as we draw to T-point. Please make sure that you're not arching that back. I really want you to focus on drawing those pubic bone towards that chin. To protect that back, we're working the glute and the core here. And 4. And 5, coming back to center, extending that leg, flexing that ankle, and pulsating for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, drawing that leg back into tabletop, dropping that left leg down, lifting those glutes, deep inhale, squeezing those glutes, and you're just going to do 10 pulsations, slight activation of that glute to lift those hips for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, slowly coming back to supine position, drawing that right knee towards your chest as you extend that left leg. And just flexing that ankle, doing some ankle movements to loosen up. And extending that right leg up towards the sky, pointing those toes, lifting head, neck, and chest off the mat. We're going to go into our hamstring pulls. Deep breath in. Exhale, we pulse, pulse, and rotate. And pulse, pulse. Keep going. Let's do another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And slowly bringing both legs up to meet one another, pointing those toes towards your nose. Your head, neck and chest are still off the mat, and just allowing that stretch. Very nice. You are doing so well. We are progressing our movements and feeling that strength and effort, understanding that all of this is a process and it's just an opportunity to be patient with yourself, but continue with a good habit. So very well done. Slowly drawing both legs onto the mat and extending them all the way down. We're going to lift right leg into tabletop, drawing our hands into T-point, extending that right leg, flexing that ankle, and we're going to do little circles. Want you to focus on keeping that stability of that pelvis as you circulate. Keep going. Let's go for another 5. If you want more of a challenge, you can make bigger circles. And 3, 2, 1. Coming back to center and changing direction. Feeling that activation in those lower limbs. And keep working. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bending that leg and just drawing it across midline. Looking in the opposite direction. And slowly coming back to center, extending that right leg down, lifting left leg into tabletop, extending that leg up, and little circles. Inhale, circle, circle. Exhale, feeling that movement in that hip joint. It's really just a small movement, but deep activations to maintain that stability. And keep going. Inhale, circle, circle. Exhale, circle, circle. And let's go for another 4, 3, 2, 1. And coming back to center to change directions. Feeling that movement. Feeling that activation. Inhale, circle, circle. Exhale, remember to use your breathing to your advantage. Let's go for another 3, 2, 1. Now slowly drawing that knee to chest, coming into tabletop, and then just dropping it across the midline. Look in the opposite direction. Breathing into that back, embracing the stretch. And slowly coming back to center, extending both legs all the way onto the mat, pointing those toes, drawing those arms overhead, reaching in opposite directions. Deep breath in. Exhale, bringing hands to your sides and slowly rounding yourself all the way up into seated, reaching into a seated forward fold. And inhale, exhale, rounding that spine up, bringing your ankles in line with your shoulders. Inhale, exhale, we tuck in head, neck and chest as you draw chest towards your knees and hands between those feet. Inhale to pause. Make sure those toes are pointing towards the sky. And exhale, forward. Inhale. And exhale, coming back. Let's do 2 more of those. Reaching forward. Coming all the way back up. And last one, coming all the way forward. And coming back up into stacked vertebra. We're going to bend those knees, placing those hands on those shins. We're going to lift and hover those feet off the mat. Deep breath in. Exhale. We round that spine and roll back, coming back up into seated to hover. Inhale. Exhale. We roll back, coming back up into hover. Let's do 4 more of these. Inhale, exhale, round that spine, rolling back, coming back to hover. And 2. Using that core to stabilize. Last one. And coming all the way down, lifting yourself up and coming into boat posture. Keeping your tummy tight and just holding. Lengthening that spine for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and slowly hugging those knees towards that chest. And we're going to just slowly lift ourselves up into standing forward fold. Halfway lengthen. And dropping those hands down towards the mat, and either walking or jumping yourself into front support position. And coming all the way into downward facing dog. Taking a moment here to breathe, and then slowly coming forward into an all fours position. We're slowly going to pivot ourselves all the way onto our right hand side. Hips are forward and activated, making sure that our shoulders are stacked, hips are stacked. Deep breath in. Exhale, we're going to bring hands up towards the sky. Inhale. Exhale, we lift left leg up and back down for 5 counts. That's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, and holding for 10, 9, hips forward using that core. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and slowly dropping that leg down, dropping those hips and coming into an elbow resting position. Hips are forward, shoulders, hips and knees are all aligned. You're going to extend that left leg. Deep breath in. We toe tap to lift, and we come forward to toe tap to lift, and toe tap and forward to toe tap. Keep going. If you want more of a challenge, you can lift your hips down and do the same thing, but I would just strongly recommend that rather keeping your hips down and allowing that quality activation. And last one, coming all the way up, and pulsations for 10, 9, 8, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and slowly coming all the way back down and turning over onto your back. Let's make sure we're in the center of the mat. We're going to lift right leg up into tabletop, then left leg, placing our lifting head and chest off. We change over for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, keeping that belly tight for 3, 2, and 1, and slowly coming back to center. Deep breath in, interlacing our hands behind our head. Inhale. Exhale. We double leg toe tap and come back to center for 5 counts. That's 4. Drawing belly in as you drop those toes. 3, 2, and 1. And slowly hugging those knees towards your chest. Looking left, looking right. And coming back to supine position. Deep breath in. Exhale, lifting right leg into tabletop, then left leg. We're progressing that last movement, bringing hands overhead. Inhale. Exhale, drawing both hands onto the mat. Inhale. Exhale, we draw our hands around as we extend those legs and come back to center. We're going to do 8 of these. We inhale, exhale, extend those limbs. That's 2. Slow, controlled movements. 3, 4, and 5. Keep going. If you need a rest, you can stop and pause, have a few breathers. 2 more. Last little push. Stick with me. And last one. Extend and slowly hugging those knees towards your chest, looking right, looking left, and slowly just placing your hands behind the back of your knee and coming all the way up into seated and tucking your feet under you and coming into an all fours position, coming into rest position. Inhale, exhale, we come all the way back up. We're going to just do a few more cat cows. Deep breath in, exhale, we open that chest. Deep breath in, and then we round as we tuck in that chin. And back up. And last one, tucking in that chin. So push that spine towards the sky. Coming into neutral. And then slowly pivoting yourself onto that left side to do the same thing. Let's lift that right hand up towards the sky. Inhale. Exhale. Just make sure that your knees, hips and shoulders are all aligned. And we lift that right leg up and back down. That's 1. Making sure that when you lift, your hips are pushing forward. That's 2. And 3. And 4. And 5. And little pulsations for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Keep going for 3, 2, 1. Now slowly dropping those knees, placing those hips on the mat, resting onto those elbows. And now extending that right leg up, flexing that right ankle, making sure your hips are stacked, that your ribs aren't dropping down. And we toe tap down, then come forward and toe tap. I've got my hand on my glutes to make sure that I am activating. And I'm aware that as I move my leg from one position to the other, that I'm using my core to keep that ankle, that pelvic stability. Keep going. And forward, toe tap, back, toe tap. Last one. And up and pulsations for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And slowly bending that knee and coming all the way onto your tummy. We're going to rest our forehead on our hands, drawing the shoulders down that back. Deep breath in. Exhale, lifting head, neck and chest off the mat. Again, as I always say, if you struggle with lower back pain, please can you get a cushion or a towel and place it under that pelvis just to protect that lower back. And lifting up. And when we come up, I really want you to try and focus on keeping that neck in neutral, but drawing those shoulder blades down that back into opposite corners. And just a reminder that if you do struggle with lower back pain, please just get a towel or a cushion to place under that pelvis just to support that back. Using that core and those back extensors to lift and lower. Now holding here, we're going to lift our legs off the mat as well, using those glutes. Inhale. Exhale, we're going to extend those arms. And as we draw those knees away, we draw those elbows together. That's 1. And 2. keeping that tummy tight, using that tummy to protect that back. 3 and 4, 5, 6 and 7 and 8, and extending and holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly releasing, drawing those hands on towards your hips and dropping that chin, tucking it in. Inhale, exhale, activating that tummy as you lift head, neck and chest off the mat, as you draw those hands down those knees and keeping them really close contact with those legs, and slowly coming back down. We're going to do 8 of these, drawing those shoulders and those gaps down that back as you lift. Inhale to pause, exhale down, that's 2, and drawing those hands down that back, using that core and those back extensor muscles. And 4, we're halfway, keep going. And 5, should be feeling this in your back extensors and your core. You've got 2 more. And 2. And last one, lifting and holding, drawing those scaps down the back, squeezing your hands into your hips for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now lifting those legs, extending those arms and holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly releasing. We've got 1 more exercise in this position. Deep breath in. Exhale, extending those arms, rotating your palms to face the mat. Legs are off the mat, and we are going to pulsate those limbs in opposite directions for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And slowly releasing and coming straight into rest position to counter pose. Inhale, exhale, lifting yourself into all fours, dropping that pelvis to look up towards the sky. Slowly coming all the way back into that rest position. And then walking your hands towards the left side of the mat as you open your right side body. And then slowly coming back to center, and then bringing your hands to the right side of the mat as you open your left side body. Coming back into all fours, and coming back into opening that chest as you drop that pelvis. Coming back into center and just lifting that right leg between those hands as you come into modified crescent lunge. Lengthening that spine. Opening those hips as you lean into that front right knee. Coming back to center, extending that right leg as you straighten that back, rotate your pelvis outwards now. Just draw your hands towards the mat as you draw your chest towards that knee, allowing that stretch into that back part of your knee. Slowly releasing, placing your hands on the mat, bringing that right leg behind you as you bring that left leg between those hands to do the same thing with the other side. Lengthening that spine, opening those hips. Slowly dropping those hands down and extending that left leg, flexing that ankle, drawing that chest towards your knees. And placing your hands on the mat as you draw that leg behind you, and then just coming all the way into a seated position to face the side of the mat. You're going to lift that right leg over that left knee, hugging that left knee towards that left shoulder. A stretch into that glute and into that lower back. slowly releasing, and we're just going to change over to the other side, hugging that right shoulder towards that left knee towards that right shoulder as you look over that left shoulder. Slowly coming back to center, just allowing your legs to fall into a crisscross position, lifting those arms up towards the sky, and then reaching over towards that right hand side as you draw that left arm up and over, keeping those vertebrae stacked, allowing that stretch in that left side of the body. Coming back to center, and same thing towards the other side. And slowly coming back to center and bringing your hands to heart.